Hello, welcome everyone. Going live here again. I'm looking forward to answering some of your questions. I got some questions about loneliness, alcohol, or using just other things to numb out, shadow work, and especially shadow work behind money, and then procrastination. Just to hi, comment to make you angry. Hello, good to see you. Um, So yeah, we're going to answer some questions about that. And then the money stuff was like around earning, like being in prosperity consciousness. And I'm going to touch on under earning because that is like a psychological phenomenon a lot of people don't know about. So, and if you have any other questions related to mental health or psychology, hello, let me know. I'm here to answer your questions. But so the first, I got a question in my DM, and these are pretty common about, hey, like I'm using alcohol to numb out or just relax and not be anxious. But if it's not alcohol, it's something else. And they had the awareness to know that they were numbing out. Like it's a bad habit, but I'm doing it to numb out because I feel lonely and then I'm worried about some things. So, and they're at a point where they're like, I don't want to do this anymore because I'm doing X, Y, and Z to better my life. And I started these things, especially at the beginning of the new year. They were saying, like, I've decided to, and I still have great momentum going around all these things, but the alcohol use is getting in the way, or I'll use video games or something to numb out, right? So it's kind of like you're making all this progress, and it's kind of like you stop yourself from doing even more progress, and then you numb out. It could be even with like Netflix, right? You're or just watching TV. And I'm a big proponent of like, hey, take a day, relax, just do something like watching TV, especially if it's something that makes you feel good and makes you laugh, because laughing is so healing. So I'm not putting that down. It's just when it turns into a form of numbing out, that's not bettering your life. Or it's, you wake up the next day and you're like, I wish I wouldn't have done that. I wish I would have gone to bed earlier. And it's becoming a bad habit. That's what I'm talking about when I'm talking about numbing out. So you want to, it helps to understand, because you could white knuckle and be like, I'm going to bed, but you don't want that addiction pathway to go into something else, which is what this person that DM'd me was talking about. It's like, okay, if I don't drink, then it's this. It's something to distract me, to keep me from like getting to my goals faster, which is great awareness, right? So it's like this numbing out thing I do to just stop myself. It's like that inner critic that I talk about that's like, oh, just go over here. It's like you're doing too well, like just numb out for a little bit, talk to this person, let's have a drink, let's watch the next episode. So what you want to realize is, okay, what is stopping me? What is the kind of core belief behind that? Like, because there's no such, you have to think of like, especially when it comes to your goals, it's only now. We only have now. There's really no tomorrow, and the past doesn't exist anymore. Even though sometimes some of us live in the past, it literally doesn't exist anymore, and neither does tomorrow. So you can't do anything tomorrow. You can only do things now. So what is taking you out of the present moment? Because all numbing out and all addiction is literally, the definition of it is to take you out of the present moment. So what is it that's taking you out of the present moment, and why? And fear of success is a big thing that people forget about, because everyone's like, no, I want to be successful. But it's like, what? It's worth writing down. Like, just like pretend. Like, if I was afraid of being successful or having the success that I want, what would be the downside to that? Or what would be like, if I did get the success that I want, what would be the downside to that? Or if I were to hypothetically say I was afraid of success, what would that look like? Just to like, because it's probably a shadow aspect that is in your subconscious or unconscious mind. So by being curious, you could bring that up into the conscious mind and be like, oh, maybe that's exactly what's going on. So it doesn't control you anymore. And then often when we're numbing out, there is a synonym. Sorry, I have something in my eye. Often when we're numbing out, there's a thing called HALT, HALT. It's a like little acronym for hungry, angry, lonely, and tired. And sometimes when I tell people that, they're like, I have all of them. So, but it's worth asking yourself. So before you numb out, watch that extra episode or grab that extra glass of whatever or play the video game, whatever it is. Just ask yourself, am I hungry, angry, lonely, or tired? be really real with yourself. Is it one of those? And if it is, be like, then ask yourself, how can I, if you're hungry, get your basic needs met. Now, are you hungry because it's 2 in the morning and you should be asleep, or is it because you need to, balance that out? Eat something if it's that. If you're tired, again, we need to get our basic needs met. And where is it? Because some of us overgive so much. I've had to talk to so many people. I've had so many clients where I'm like, you are not even getting your basic needs met, like sleeping enough. And I need you to make that a priority, because that's going to affect your health and everything else. And when you do, I promise you're not being selfish, and the world won't end. In fact, the world will get better, including yours and everyone else's. So, um, being aware of that. And then also, if you prioritize sleep, you can get a lot more stuff done, because it's not like, oh, I could stretch out this hour, I could stay up till da, da, da. You cannot stay up till 2, 3 in the morning all the time. You will dysregulate yourself. And I want you to know that. Yes, HALT. I like that. HALT is hungry, angry, lonely, tired. And so, and if you're angry, okay, well, there's an opportunity. Angry is just an emotion. All emotions are energy in motion. They move through you, they don't last. But what is there? I like when people feel angry, because it could be a catalyst for something, and it could be an emotional release. We just don't want to store that in the body. What we don't want to do is suppress it, okay? Because again, remember, your brain is here. You have a little helmet in your skull, like that's your skull, and then your brain is here. But the brain stem, the rest of your brain goes down your spine and throughout your body. So if we suppress things, then we get a pain here, some type of dis-ease, a disease. If it's a long-standing thing, a lot of cancer research has been done about how suppressed emotion leads to certain cancers. So it's really important so if you are feeling the anger, I think that's a good sign. Can you release it? Can you journal? Can you talk about it? And send yourself a voice note if you're not working with someone. Can you talk to someone? Can you release it? And I'm not talking about to keep the emotion going. I'm talking about releasing. And really, in letting go, I have it somewhere. I think it's in the back over here. Yeah, it's this one, letting go. It talks a lot about releasing emotions and how to do it properly. And when you do it, you can literally become the next version of yourself. And to get this book, read it for sure, because it really goes into depth about how to do this and how to really reprogram your brain and rewire your nervous system to let go of emotions that aren't serving you, that could be there for years, just these bad patterns that could have been there for years. But on the most elemental level, it's kind of like, can you release it? Can you sit with the emotion that's uncomfortable for 5 minutes and release it forever, and just sit with it and breathe through it and let it out and let it release through you? And so if you're feeling angry, or any emotion that is uncomfortable. The book is called Letting Go by David R. Hawkins, Dr. David R. Hawkins. And it is the pathway of surrender. And there's a lot of energy around the word surrender. A lot of us don't know what it means. And it really just means to release things that aren't serving us, that are getting in our way and fucking up our life. And so, because sometimes people think surrender is talking about something lazy. It's not. So, but this book is so good for helping you rewire your brain and nervous system. Here, sorry. There we go. So I would definitely recommend getting this book, and it goes over step by step, and it gives all these examples. And even if you're into manifesting, I think that's how I originally found this book. It's like, hey, that is what's getting in the way. Like, I have this emotion, this unconscious belief, this unconscious pattern, or maybe it's a conscious pattern, like a core belief that is getting in the way based on some unwanted emotion that I keep experiencing. In my life, it was like sadness for me. But so, and then the lonely, so hungry, angry, lonely, tired is HALT, that symbol. And then with loneliness, so loneliness is like, because you can be in a relationship. The times I felt the loneliest before I did the inner work was when I was in a relationship. So it's like, if you are feeling lonely, where are you not allowing yourself to be seen or heard or taken care of? And even if you're not attracting the type of relationship that you want, I challenge you to think about, where are you, like, even if you say you want it so badly, like, I want this type of relationship, I want to be treated like this, where are you not allowing yourself to be seen, heard, supported, taken care of in the way that you say you want? Do you not believe it's possible? If you don't believe it's possible, you can't have that. because the universe, the world would just be like, okay, I'll show you how it's not possible. The universe is just a mirror of your core beliefs. That's why I'm always trying to get you to change your core beliefs and your identity to one that is preferential. So it will just keep saying yes, yes, yes back to you. So if you can just look at that and maybe do a little bit of shadow work there and see, where is it that I don't completely believe that? And where is it that I can upgrade my beliefs that I am worthy of having this, of being seen and heard and taken care of and supported and loved in this way and having a genuine connection in this way? I'm going to look at some of the comments. Okay, God is Boss. I love your name. Did you see it? God is Boss, Letting Go by David R. Hawkins. Dr. David R. Hawkins. Fucking real. I will look it up. You have so much rage and frustration of being able to move on your. Are you talking about yourself? So much rage and frustration of Nime being able to move on, or even killing myself. I've been stuck in the same spot for 20 years now. Okay, so you've been stuck in the same spot, and then you can move. Here's the core belief that could shift immediately. The past doesn't exist anymore. We have to remember that. Some of us live in the past, so the past doesn't exist. So if you can say the past doesn't exist anymore, and I have this moment, and this moment, this present moment is all that really exists, and say I could change it right now. If you really want to, Mr. In Between, if you really want to, can you decide right now that this is where everything changes? In this freaking moment right now is where my life changes. So I had that happen, and talk about it like it's past, like, oh my God, I remember when I used to feel that way, and I used to think this, and I used to have this worldview and this like really bad perception of myself in life. And now I have this. Even if you don't fully believe it, can you just be in that? Can you just like change that core belief? Can you begin to change that core belief? Because we just want to shift, and then the more we give energy to something else, that old neural pathway can weaken. We can only keep alive what we give energy to. So if you can start to let it die by neglect. So we're focusing on, here's what we're doing now. In this present moment, I live like this. My life looks like this. And if it's because you're so focused on the past, or you have been, just say, oh yeah, I remember in the past, it used to be like that, the I remember technique. Okay, I have chronic adjustment diagnosis coupled with depression and anxiety. Disabled veteran here is thank you for your service, God is Boss. Is the book, yes, the book is in electronic version. This book, a lot of veterans have used this book to release like some insane trauma. So you'll love it, Goddess Boss. Come back here. I do every Sunday for sure. Sundays are for sure, and then it's going to be like Tuesday or Wednesday for the week. I've decided, but sometimes Tuesdays, sometimes Wednesdays work better. But I would love to hear back from you on what you thought, and just using those techniques. And this is one of these books, you guys, I've read and listened to this book. I can't even tell you how many times. And every time I do, I feel like I learned something new, or it's just like, like I've just read it for the first time with fresh ears and eyes, So you'll always get something different out of it, just depending on your level of consciousness or what's going on for you. And that's what I love about it. So highly recommend to everyone, no matter where you are. And the anxiety and depression. So depression is, we're focused on the past. We're stuck somewhere in the past, and anxiety is worrying about the future. So God is Boss, you have a very profound calling to understand the present moment and be in the present moment. And it's interesting that, I had this question I was answering about numbing out, because numbing out is getting out of the present moment, right? And a lot of veterans have forms of numbing out. Sometimes we call it addiction, and anxiety, depression from trauma. So from either PTSD or complex PTSD. So again, thank you for your service. And there's an opportunity to release those things, release the past, and get that out of your nervous system. And you get it out of your nervous system by being in the present moment. So you could sit with those feelings and let them go and let new ones in. Allow yourself to have a new experience. If you found me, it's not like I do a lot of advertising for this at all. If you found me, I think it's because you're ready to hear that and you're ready to let it go and you're ready to have your new identity. And I have a lot. I talk about this. I do this exercise a lot, especially in my course. My courses at the beginning, I'm like, if you woke up tomorrow and you were living the life of your dreams, what would your health, wealth, relationships, career, your relationship with God, universe, spirituality, whatever you call it, what would that look like? And I want you to write down every little nitty gritty detail and start feeling into that and living almost like you're delusional, just like living in that, like, oh my God, isn't it so great that because once you give energy to that, that's what you'll get more of in your life. I've cleared up a lot of health issues like that. And that's why when I started my private practice, I was so passionate about, helping people with certain health issues because I know, that's what it did for me. And like, it's been proven now, like your mind can completely alter your physicality, right? That's why you've heard of people like talking to their cells, like, oh my gosh, cells, like, I'm so glad, heart, that you work well and all this stuff. And thank you for radiating and giving me glowing skin and hair. So when people talk to their cells, things happen. What are you doing on Sunday? So I go live on Sunday. So I'm starting to live stream more on this channel. And so on Sunday, we're calling it Soothing Sundays, and it's to get rid of if you have Sunday scaries, you're worried about, but it's to recalibrate your mindset to have the most amazing week and to talk if you have any questions and just to have like a soothing Sunday. And because some of you guys are joining at different times, I'm going to try to do it earlier, maybe like I'm in Pacific time, so maybe 5 p.m. Pacific, so that's 8 p.m. Because one of the things I talk to you guys about is getting to bed at at a good time. So if I'm going live when it's like midnight for you guys, I want to, help out. And if, and then you guys in Hawaii, it's like early. So Soothing Sundays, it will be early evening. Did I miss? I comment to make you angry. What do you mean when you say how you want? What do you mean? Did I say that? Can you clarify? Do you believe in psychosomatic pain? Yeah, yes, I do believe in psychosomatic pain. Psychosomatic psychology is very interesting. And it's also, you guys, psychosomatic stuff it's a survival technique. So it's a way for your body's so smart. And so if you, sometimes like we don't want to think about a trauma that happened or something that happened. And so your body will and it's a way to protect you, but then it gets uncomfortable, right? And I'll tell you a really funny psychosomatic thing, right? So in the Victorian era, women were not allowed to, I hope I don't get in trouble for saying this, but like women weren't allowed to masturbate. So a very common neurosis or like psychological thing that people would have with like Victorian, like their hands would go numb. Their hands would go numb. So because that was not appropriate and it was very ingrained in the culture at the time that women weren't even supposed to like have like sexual, like anything. So like obviously masturbating wasn't the thing. So and as you know that like you don't ever hear about like hands going numb or anything anymore because things have changed, right? And I think that was when the vibrator was invented because of that. And so the women would go to the doctor to, so you could look up the history of the vibrator. It's interesting, but that is a form of psychosomatic pain or psychosomatic symptoms that can show up when you have like a certain belief or a certain trauma associated with something and you don't want to think about it or recognize it, or you might not even be conscious of it, but you have some type of pain that shows up in your body that the doctors cannot account for. It's psychosomatic. And I have with a lot of nurses, I've had a lot of clients that are nurses and massage therapists that have a lot of psychosomatic, like they have rashes that can't be explained. And it's because they're in these situations. Think about being in a hospital, you're absorbing so many people's energy, or you're doing massage and you're absorbing a lot of people's energy. And so I've had to teach those people how to, because, when you're in a helping profession or you're just around a lot of people all the time, this could happen if you go to a concert, you have to really learn to not absorb people's energy. And there's different things you can do of just like breathing and then like think about pushing it away, or like have a white light go through you like you're cleaning. And you know what? This is real, you guys. Like I say, you clean your body, you brush your teeth, you wash your hair, but you have to energetically take care of yourself too, right? Meditating, energy. And when I'm talking about energy, I'm like, it's also like spiritual, right? And so you want to be like, I release any energy that's not mine. You could even say that. But did you have a more specific question about psychosomatic pain, Thomas? Um, and let's see, what do you think is the worst kind of trauma, childhood or adulthood? Great question, Midwest Mike. So trauma is subjective. Isn't that interesting that trauma is subjective? So meaning that like something that's traumatic to you might not be traumatic to me. And so let's say, and here's another thing that studies have shown, like let's say that two children that are the same age experience the same trauma, how it affect, if it's going to actually negatively affect you later or in the moment for the child, but later in life depends on how it's dealt with. So if they have two parents or caretakers that were like very attentive to it and very supportive and everything, the child isn't going to really have a lot of trauma and it's not going to follow them into adulthood. If it was like suppressed or not dealt with, then that can lead to a lot of other, you could keep repeating that pattern throughout your life until it's resolved in adulthood. Now, if you have this like amazing life where you've never experienced any trauma and then like something traumatic happens in adulthood, that might be like, let's say it's, I don't know, it could be anything, but like that wouldn't be a big deal to you, but you've met people where it's like, that's the most traumatic thing that's ever happened to me. And it's like, that's all that's happened to you. So trauma is really subjective. And so, but trauma is just your nervous system not being able to handle something. Something was too much or not enough for you in a circumstance. So there was neglect, or there was like a lot of violence or whatever. So you had too much or too little of something. That is the definition of trauma. So it's very subjective. Hi, Lauren. I found you on the 26th of February. So excited to be here on the lives. Oh, hello. Hello, James. Nice to see you again. Thanks for sharing the book. Looking forward to, yeah, definitely get that book. Oh God. You guys, let's see. Get rid of that comment. Let's see. Tim Watkins. Hi, Tim. I comment to make you angry from 29 minutes ago. I don't remember. I don't remember either. I know that sometimes I misspeak. I'll be editing like clips and sometimes I'll post these clips in like little shorts or reels. And I'm like, oh, I meant to not, you know what I mean? It just, everyone does it. So, but apologies if I, didn't say something correctly. Someone commented on one of my things because I'm like, oh, it's so frustrating. But I guess I said I mispronounced frustrating. And this person commented, oh, great information in this short, because it was a short, except you pronounce frustrate. Can you pronounce frustrating correctly? Okay. Thank you for letting me know. Okay. God is boss. Totally agree. You're very likable, which is very important when trying to get one to open up. Just subscribe. Looking forward to listening to. Oh, thank you. Yeah. And God is boss. If you have any questions, please. So I'm doing these live streams to hold space for you guys and answer your questions. Again, I get a lot of DMs or questions in my comments on my videos. And then sometimes people, ask if they can do one-on-one therapy or, one of my courses, and maybe it's just not affordable right now. So it's just like, I want to open up this space for you guys to, get a little like coaching and answering your questions and just helping you get your mindset on track. And, and I think that if you found me, it's not a coincidence. And anything I could do to be helpful. So thank you so much. Frosted Cupcake. Oh, that's such a cute name. Liked and subscribed. Thank you, Frosted Cupcake. Can I be can I be managing mood to help filter trolls? What does that mean? Can I be managing mod? Oh, I don't know how to do that. But that's another thing I like about YouTube. There's not that many trolls. Like sometimes I'll get a few, but on here, but I think YouTube's pretty good about that. But thank you for asking. I comment to make you. Are they now? What are you going to talk about history? I mean, okay, I was just saying that because I was just talking about that because someone was asking about psychosomatic pain. Uh, oh dear. Um, Janita, hi, I'm doing well. How are you? Where's the lows hiding? Um, let's see. I struggled to get and keep jobs. I think because both of my parents abandoned me when I was young. Yeah. Okay, first of all, that's really great awareness. And I'm actually going to talk more about money and under earning, which is this falls under earning, and under earning is the psychological phenomenon where you don't there's a part of your brain that stops you from receiving the amount of money that you deserve, the type of jobs that you deserve, things that are related to worth and money. There's a part of you that's blocking that, and it's called under earning. Or if you get it, if you have a certain, like say you want like $100,000, then you'll get $100,000 worth of debt. Like so, you're never like feeling safe around money or safe around like job stability or job security. This falls under a psychological phenomenon called under earning, and it can actually be an addiction. There's literally like 12-step programs for under earning. It's really interesting. Let me mute this guy. Okay. So I'm back. And so anyway, so that's really good that you've made that. That's really good awareness that you've made that correlation between, okay, I got abandoned and now it's hard for me to keep jobs. So let's think about it this way. What is a job? A job is some place you spend a lot of time. It provides, well, hypothetically, it's supposed to provide stability for you. If you're in a good work situation, it could provide like support and community if you're in an ideal situation. And what else does it provide? Security, community. It's a place where you can show up and your value can be seen. And so you didn't get any of that from your parents, I'm assuming, if they abandoned you. So if you're showing up at a job, there's part of your brain that thinks, well, if this happened to me as a child, it's going to happen to me again. So your belief system is attracting maybe jobs that and you're saying they're good jobs. I keep good jobs. I struggle to get and keep good. Yeah, so there's something about it where your subconscious mind is like, I don't deserve this. I'm going to be abandoned, and so maybe I'll abandon it before, or like there's you have a feedback loop that's saying you're going to get abandoned. So your subconscious mind is constantly proving that. Now, logically, of course, you want to keep the job, but your nervous system, there's an opportunity to heal that part of you and that like inner child. This is why I love inner child work, because you can go straight to you could bypass the logical mind, because the logical mind just gets in the way sometimes, like of healing past parts of yourself that are, creating these patterns in your life that you don't like. So what I would do, to use, it's called family systems in psychology, but it's called inner child work. And so you can go to that version of yourself where you were abandoned by your parents and talk to that version. Just ask her, or it can also be multiple versions of you. And then you could go to the teenage version, and you could go to the 20-year-old or whatever. Just ask every version of yourself, but start with the youngest version of yourself that you could remember that felt abandoned, and then just talk to her. Ask her what her concerns are, and then just let her be seen and heard. And then after that, comfort her and let her know that it's now 2026, that it's now the present moment, and she doesn't have to live like that anymore. And you're going to take care of her, and you can have a good job where people love and support you, and your skills, talents, and abilities can be seen and expressed. And so talk to the inner child from there. And it will feel very comforting, and you will probably cry a lot. I haven't, like, when someone really does this with this type of trauma, Leah, it will make you cry, and that's a good thing. That's a good energy outlet. So let me know if you have any questions about that, but thank you for your vulnerability, Leah, and bringing that up, and because you're not alone in that. And I know that because after this recording, I just like leave the live stream up, that someone's going to hear that and really benefit from that. Jordan says, "Hey, why do girls judge me?" What do you mean by that? Do you mean they don't like you? Like, I need a therapist badly. Yeah, I do one-on-one work with clients. I have a link in I'll send you my WhatsApp number. My WhatsApp number, I'll say it out loud as I'm writing it down. 949-396-4092 is my WhatsApp. Here, I'll put WhatsApp too. WhatsApp. And then, we could talk from there and, see if, we're a good fit to work together. And if not, I'll give you some other recommendations, of course. And then, yeah, we'll talk from there. Good evening, madam. Greetings from London. Hello, syndicate. Greetings from London. Thank you for joining in. Oh no, it wasn't a mispronunciation. You mentioned something and then you spoke to someone else, and then I forgot what my question was about. The train just kept rolling. Gotta keep the train rolling. Well, if you remember, let me know. When one loses their parents, they're a hack. Oh, is there a hack for this when someone loses their parents? So I'm assuming that if you're asking this, you're in a lot of grief. You're feeling a lot of grief, crunchy biscuits. So I'm very sorry to hear that. And it depends on the situation. So if you're missing your parents, that's such a, like, there's so many aspects to that. Like, it's like, am I missing my parents because I have kids and I want them to see these milestones? And then when I work with clients that, are in the grieving process, it's like, what is your spiritual orientation? Because I feel like people on the other side of the veil are seeing us, but we don't get to hold them and talk to them. And so, like, it's such a deep question. Can you get more specific on, like, how I can help you? Because, and like, as we know, the grieving process is not linear, right? You go from shock, denial to acceptance, and then missing them again, and then wishing, and then anger. There's all of these things that come up. So, and also, is this question more about, like, managing those feelings that are associated with grief so they don't overwhelm you? That's a big thing too. And I think that that's probably, like, when I do work with clients around grieving, it's more about, how do I manage these feelings? Okay, they're gone. How do I manage these feelings? How do I keep going? And then in that case, I would say, like, what would your parents want you to be doing? Because I know that people on the other side, they don't want you to be sad all the time. They want you to be happy, and they want you to be living your life and doing things. There's this, like, club or whatever called Nikki Beach. And like, they have all these clubs around. They're like beach clubs, and they're kind of bougie, and they're called Nikki Beach. And Nikki Beach was invented because these parents lost their daughter, Nikki. She's a party girl, and she loved to party and, do all these things. And so they're, like, on vacation trying to live their life, and they're crying, and they're like, Nikki would not want us to do this. get chills. But they were like, Nikki wouldn't want us to do this. We have to do something else. And so they started Nikki Beach in her honor. So I love things like that. It's kind of like, okay, I miss you, but can we do things like in your honor, like knowing that you're still watching me? Another one of my clients like was so upset, like just really had a hard time when her mother passed. And so I'm like, what if you just asked her for a sign? And she did. It was like she asked for a four-leaf clover and she could not stop finding four-leaf clovers like on her walks. So there's so many things that you could do for grief, and managing those things and not letting them overwhelm you without suppressing them. We don't want to suppress, we want to release. We want to like let those feelings move through us. All emotions are energy in motion. So we want to constantly remember to breathe and release them, let them move through you, and know that they aren't going to overwhelm you or control your life. I need to open up ever since I was in jail. Well, yeah, probably, yeah. I mean, we always need to open up and talk. Um, so yeah, if you want to work one-on-one with me, um, message me on WhatsApp and we'll chat. I have been going through so much with people at work, aka toxicity, relationships. Can you give a little advice? Oh my gosh, yes. Um, Toxic relationships at work are one of the biggest topics I get, because it's kind of like, again, you spend a lot of your life at work, so you deserve to be in a good, safe environment. And I say that to start answering this question because sometimes we have a core belief that's like based in scarcity, like, oh my God, I'm just happy to have this job. Even maybe not, maybe you don't feel that now, but maybe when you got that job, you're like, oh, I'm just so happy and to have this job, and I'm just gonna settle, and like, so I'm not gonna just keep my mouth shut or whatever. When you come from a place of scarcity, that will be reflected in your environment, in work situations that don't respect you or support you or care about you. So starting there to change your belief system, and the fact that you're getting fed up, like you're saying you're going through so much. I don't actually, you didn't say you're getting fed up, but it's actually kind of good to get to that point, because when you are fed up with something, that means you no longer accept that behavior, or you're right at the precipice of like elevating your standards, because life will always meet you at your standards. If something is going on in your life that you don't like, somewhere in your subconscious mind or unconscious mind, you are okay with that stand. You're allowing it to happen. So once we elevate our standards and say, I don't tolerate this, and I deserve, and I only work at places where I get paid this much and I'm treated this way, and like really sit down with yourself and decide, whatever your name is, work in an environment that only has these type of people that make me feel seen and heard and safe and supported, and I get paid this much, and I only work this much. Because a lot of toxic environments, they work you to the bone. So I only work this much. I have excellent work-life balance. So getting all of that down, and then actually in real time, because okay, let me go back to this for a second. Once you shift your identity, new opportunities will open up, or all of a sudden, all these toxic people, they get fired or they get a new job. I've seen it over and over again. When you shift your identity, everything else will shift. You'll either get a better job or another better opportunity, or everything at work will shift. I promise. Um, Let me delete that comment. And so, but in real time, dealing with toxic people, a lot of my content is about toxic people with personality disorders and narcissistic personality disorders. And in work environments, it's really frustrating because they can use power dynamics, taking credit for your work, cutthroat type of things. So you need to really be strong and stand your ground. But the first thing you need to do is what I call be the color beige, be so boring. So you get what you're like a machine. You just get what you need to get done. You act like happy and unfazed. Nothing's bothering you. You're not doing anything. These people know how to trigger you. You're not showing that you're triggered by anything. You're getting everything done. And then if you have a person above you in power, so it's your boss or anyone that has more authority than you, or like there's a power dynamic, You have to document everything. I'm sorry, but like you have to document everything, talk to those people through email as much as possible just to protect yourself. And a lot of dynamics I see, they're like afraid to go to HR. They're afraid to, you're going to have to get better at that. And if you're in a work environment where you feel so threatened that you don't feel like you can go to HR because it's like, oh, I'll be whiny, I'll get fired, that's a form of tyranny. So you're really holding someone emotionally and psychologically hostage from getting their basic needs met and feeling safe, which is a basic need, especially at work. That's not okay. That is never okay. So if that is going on, that's a sign that you need to shift environments because that's not okay. That's very toxic, and not good for your mental, emotional, physical well-being. So the first thing is to take care of yourself in terms of, just citing everything with people, and remember to take credit for your work. A lot of times I see people, like one coworker will steal credit. Like, no, you need to stand up for yourself. And a lot of times in toxic work environments, it's an opportunity for you to know your worthiness and claim it. A lot of times when we attract a challenge in our lives, it's because we have an opportunity for growth around that. So every person that's in a toxic work environment, you have an opportunity to use your skills, talents, abilities better in an environment that suits you, and own that. And like, hey, like I deserve this type of treatment, and really own that because you have been settling for less. So it is a calling. Every time I've worked with someone around toxic environments, like in work environments, they've claimed that new identity and what they actually want from themselves, and everything 100% of the time things have shifted. Even with like business partners where it's like, oh my God, well, this is my baby, this is my business. The partnership ended, and then that person went on to create something even better and just thrive in every way. 100% of the time I have seen this. I go over this a lot in my course about toxic relationships and thriving. That's why I named the course not even just healing, but thriving after toxic relationships, because that is what toxic relationships do. Do you see the messages? Is there a message I'm missing? Let me see. Block these people. Okay. Just get through it. Can I be managing? How do I do that? Let me see. Frosted cupcakes. Hold on. I don't know how to do that. You know what, Frosted Cupcakes? I would actually love a moderator. Can you text me on WhatsApp that number that I put, and then like the next time I go live, if you're around, because I don't know how to do it from here. Okay, let me go back to the questions. Um, okay. Not even King Arthur. Okay, yeah, let's delete that. Um, do you concern your Do you discern a narcissist from borderline, BPD, or DID, dissociative identity? Oh, yeah. Those are all, the three of those are different disorders. Now, the term borderline, like borderline personality disorder, was created because they're like, hey, there's these people that are like narcissists, like they have these tendencies, but they're not completely like that, but they can get into a space where they're like psychotic, like they are not in touch with reality. And it's not totally dissociative. It's not DID, which used to be called multiple personality disorder. But it was called borderline because it's like they're right on the borderline of being kind of like in psychosis, but they're not really. And then, but they think in black and white terms. And so they kind of like would vacillate. But a lot of times when people meet a borderline personality disorder, because there's so many overlapping qualities between borderline and narcissist. They kind of confuse the two, and it really doesn't matter. It's a group, it's a cluster of defense mechanisms that are maladaptive and cause a lot of havoc in relationships. But people with borderline personality disorder tend to be more histrionic and like overly like sexualize themselves, and I mean both narcissists and borderlines use sex and things like that to manipulate and control, but just in different ways. They both cause a lot of chaos. Borderline people split a lot. It's really fascinating because someone will either, like, if you got a group of people, they'll either love or hate a borderline. Whereas with narcissists, everyone kind of like the jig is up. It's like, yeah, that person's a narcissist. You know, you can still like them or whatever, but you still know that they're narcissistic and you have to praise them and all this stuff. Let's see. Uh, Crunchy biscuits. Okay. Just got to work through it. And like, I think you're talking about the grieving. Yeah, like there's no like hack, like that's true. There's no like, oh my God, now my grief is gone. It's something that, I mean, people will say this is just always with you. You miss that person. But it's like the point is like managing the grief. So it's not like it doesn't become your whole personality and it doesn't overtake you and it doesn't stop you from, thriving in every area of your life. But you can still always miss the person and just know that without it completely ruining or stopping you from living your life. Yes, my job pays me really well, but it not worth the mental. Oh my gosh, I cannot tell you how many times I hear that my job pays me well, but it's not worth the mental health and it's destroying me. And this also goes under earning, right? So under earning isn't just about not making enough money. It's about receiving what you're worth and receiving what you want, need, and deserve. So a lot of people make like millions of dollars, like make a ton of money, but at what cost? It's not like if it's costing you your mental, physical, and emotional health, there is nothing worth that. And so I would look into, because I don't want you to have this happen again, J-Ro. Like, I don't want you to continue to, like, if you leave this job and then this happens and it's a pattern because you have this subconscious belief that I have to suffer to get paid well. I have to suffer to have a good job. Like, a lot of people have a subconscious or unconscious like contract and like really hardcore core belief around suffering, and that suffering is necessary to have nice things. Suffering is necessary to feel safe. It is not. It's not at all. Suffering is not necessary to live a nice life at all. Okay? So there's some opportunity for work and like discovery, self-discovery around not having a life that involves suffering, and that you can have whatever your job is paying you, J-Ro, you can make double that, triple that, and not suffer and not work the hours that you work. And like, but you get to know that that's possible first. It won't be possible if you don't know that's possible. Again, that's where a lot of these blocks come from, is really our core beliefs and how we feel and what we believe about ourselves. There's a disconnect from what we want. So you can have anything you want in this life. You can. There are people that are way less talented than you and way like whatever, not as cute, all the things, not as talented or athletic, that have what you want because they just feel worthy of it and they feel entitled to it. So you can definitely have that, J-Ro. And I would definitely like just sit down and do some writing about that, or talking to someone if you are working with someone. Okay, Long Beach native. Hi, any chance you need a moderator? I mod for other content. I mean, yes, I would love that. And Frosted Cupcakes was asking, "I just don't know how to make you a moderator." So can someone explain in the comments how to turn you into a moderator? Because I don't know. Okay. Um, awesome. So you got in a car accident, but you found peace. Okay, that's good. Let me delete this. Sorry. I'm like, I get so excited about answering your questions. Let me delete that comment. Um, yes, you may ask a question. That is why I'm holding this space for you guys. I love answering your questions. Very true. Are you a psychologist? Do you know how to I don't know what that means. Let me Okay. Um, let's see. I was taught people with BDP have fluid personality. They can alter their personality to match or dominate the person they're dealing with, whereas the average person has one distinct personality. So people with personality disorders, especially, so yes, that is true, but like it's not that it's fluid personality. It's like narcissists and borderlines don't have any cohesive sense of self. So they get all of their ego validation or actually like who they are as a human from others. And it's really interesting with narcissists because narcissists essentially hate everyone, but they need you. Like they make you feel like you need them, but they need you like their life depends on it in order to have any sense of self, to have any sense of like self-esteem or ego or anything like that. They need you. And so borderlines are the same way, but borderlines will just they get like more like joy out of just like becoming whoever they think you want them to be. And then they start to torture you after that. So it's not, I wouldn't call it like fluid. I would just call it like complete, like they don't have a sense of self. And so they have to get that from other people. That's kind of why they're energy vampires. They're literal like psychological parasites in that way. Um, no, I'm not married. What is, okay, I'm just gonna, um, okay. Yes, I would like to converse with you more about my situation or more rather situations with further times that can be with you further. What are times that I can reach out to you? So if you can WhatsApp me, that's why I have that number and I'll always get back to people. When I work with clients on one-on-one, I do a session a week and then throughout like any other time that we're not in session, you can talk to me through like voice notes or texting because like healing happens in real time. It doesn't happen 1 hour a week on Thursday or whatever it is. So that's why I have that. But I also have that number set up so for new clients to just see if we're a good fit. And then if we are, we just go from there and we start working together. So, but thank you for asking if when you could respectfully reach out to me. And then like in the bio in all of my social media here, and then on all my social media, there's like a link tree that will connect you to that number on WhatsApp. So, and I mean that number, it's for WhatsApp, but you can just text it. You can use regular text. But it's just easier for me to like a lot of my texts get so mixed up. You know, you get these texts for like, ads and all this stuff. So I prefer like you guys to talk to me there so I catch it right away. Do you Do you believe monkey branches if a person monkey branches had a prototype? I don't know what that means exactly, James. If people with narcissistic personality disorder don't have a sense of self, why wouldn't that make them, for lack of a better term, subhuman? I mean, that's why people, that have dealt with narcissists, they're like, they're not human, they're demonic, they're all these like things, because it's kind of like really heartbreaking really heartbreaking when you meet someone and then in the idealization phase, also known as the love bombing phase, you feel like, oh my God, this person is amazing, because they've studied you and they're becoming who they know that you want or need. And so it's like, oh my God. And then to find out that that person that you fell in love with or that you just thought was so amazing and you started a business with or whatever it is, that person didn't exist. They were just becoming whoever to draw you in to get their ego needs met. Um, I look every time I live stream, I look like someone. Someone's always like, "But I have not gotten Mandy Moore before." I remember liking her. Um, People with borderline personality can mimic a person's speed of speech. Yeah, they mirror everything. It's really kind of creepy, but yeah. They'll mirror everything. They'll like overly sexualize themselves. Borderline people I'm talking about right now. um, Whatever they can to draw you in. Narcissists do the thing where they put you on a pedestal and then they take you down from the pedestal. So you start like groveling and all of those things. But borderline people kind of like they bait and switch a lot and they go back and forth. They're equally chaotic. Okay, let me. Um, yeah, yeah, we're on the same page. I comment to make you angry. um, Let me see. My ex was a sociopath with psychopathic tendencies diagnosed. That's a hard one. I'm glad that person is your ex. Yeah, sociopaths are, very difficult. What's the most difficult about a sociopath is that they enjoy giving you pain. Like they actually enjoy it. Um so whereas, okay, here's the thing about psychopaths, like, always gets misdiagnosed or I think it's from the movies or whatever. Psychopathy, like, if you're a psychopath, that just means you have, like, neurological stuff that's not programmed, like, you don't have empathy centers. So, yes, technically, a psychopath could kill someone and not feel anything, but a psychopath is not inherently bad like a sociopath is. Like, a sociopath would kill someone and like it and like enjoy it, whereas a psychopath just doesn't experience pain like we do. So a lot of psychopaths they're like on the down low, but a lot of them are pilots. A lot of psychopaths are surgeons. A lot of psychopaths get misdiagnosed like for Asperger's or something like some and it technically is a neurodivergent thing, but they can present like that. Sometimes a lot of like psychopaths are married to like narcissists because they're like the only people that could deal with a narcissist because their feelings don't really get hurt. They're like, whatever, and they just, you know, and they're like, oh my God, my husband or wife is perfect. And it's like, they never get offended by anything. It's like, no, they're just like a psychopath and they literally can't, feel anything. What? Okay. Put you in a timeout. Um, okay. Yes. Please DM me. Yeah. Or if you are a moderator, contact me on the WhatsApp number that's in my bio or that I put in the comments. because I could definitely use one. Can you tell me a little bit in your own words about gaslighting and banter and childhood drama? Sure. Absolutely. Yeah. So what do you J-Ro, like, what exactly do you wanna know about it? But, like, but I'll just start by saying that, gaslighting and, do you mean gaslighting in childhood? But when you experience gaslighting, especially in childhood, it's always confusing. You're like, "Wait, what? What?" But when you experience gaslighting in childhood, it's very dysregulating for a child, and it's very confusing because you're told one reality exists, and then your caretaker or any type of primary caregiver tells you that, "No, this reality exists," and it could change in an instant depending on the narcissist or whoever's doing the gaslighting, whatever they want to control or manipulate or have you believe. So it's very confusing and it's very dysregulating, and it makes a child feel very unsafe. And so if that's not dealt with, typically it's not dealt, especially if it's a narcissistic parent, it's not dealt with until adulthood, and you experience a lot of narcissistic relationships and relationships showing up that are like, why do I keep getting these gaslighters in my life? This is like, oh my God. So that can happen. And again, your relationships, if you have any type of, okay, I'm just gonna, there we go. If you have any type of relationship that isn't serving you, or there's a pattern like, oh, I attract narcissists, I keep attracting gaslighters and everything, you have an undealt with trauma, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just an opportunity. Your relationships will show you what you need to heal. Your relationships will show you what you need to look at. And, there's an axiom in psychology that whatever the most problematic um parent, or the parent, or any type of situation or dynamics that you don't have resolved, it will show up in your relationships, your work relationships and your romantic relationships, your friendships. It will show up in your relationships. So Big Pontiac, greetings, very greetings to you guys. um Sorry about the trolls, I tried to get rid of them. um so yes, that uh Faraz says, "What do I need to heal if I go for a psychopath or psychos?" Okay, that's a great question. So, if you go for them or you tend to attract them, so what? So, I'm sorry, sociopaths. Psychos are, that's not a real, I think you're talking about sociopaths and people that have like really malignant personality disorders. So if you have that, for us, if you are attracting, like, let's just call, I just use the umbrella toxic people, you have some unhealed trauma, you have it somewhere. Your primary caregiver or caretaker like was doing those things, was gaslighting you, was not providing safety for you in some way, because all of those toxic people are very unsafe. They dysregulate the nervous system. So, and now you're in a state, like consciously or subconsciously, where your primary, like, you are used to having your nervous system dysregulated, and you might even associate like chaos or like disconnection with like love, and that, like, that's what love looks like. It looks like it's chaotic, it looks unstable, like love is unstable. So there's a really big opportunity, in a good way, like, to look at what love looks like to you, because I promise you that there's probably a core belief that maybe isn't completely conscious, that love is not stable, and that you have to perform a lot for love, or that you have to suffer a lot for love. Or a big one I hear is that love is painful. No, it's not. Not that, like, I mean, it's uncomfortable sometimes, and intimacy, you need to have conflict and healthy conflict resolution to grow, but that doesn't mean that love, like real love, is unsafe. I always talk about the couple bubble. Okay, we have to have, it's from a book called Attached, and it's like two magnets like that look like this. But you should have a safe, healthy couple bubble where you can have conflict resolution without feeling like threatened or anything like that. and that it should be primarily peaceful and safe. So there is an underlying belief, core belief, that love is not stable, secure, or safe. So if you can look into that for us and start there about like, can I let go of that? Can I really truly believe that I get to have relationships that are stable, loving, and supportive, and consistently stable and loving and supportive? And can your nervous system handle that? Because sometimes when we meet people that are safe, we reject them because that's boring. We think it's boring and it's just like not attractive. That's also something to look at. Not all girls love psychos. No, it's usually the hot chicks. You know what? Here's the thing. You know, this makes me think of the Crazy Hot Matrix. Like, I think that there's a big belief that it's like, okay, if a girl's super hot, then she's gotta be crazy. And I think that we're getting to this point. You're welcome. We're getting to this point, like, people are so self-aware, and I really feel like people are upgrading in terms of like their vibration and wanting to be not only physically hot, but also to be like, closer to God, closer to whatever you call your higher power. So, and I feel like that makes someone very sexy when they are, spiritually and mentally and emotionally aligned and care about those things. So maybe you'll get to a point where you don't even think the like you don't even attract that into your experience anymore because this is not hot. It's not sexy to you. Mike says, what? I'm sorry. That how does one shift that? Has one shift what? I recognize the reflection slash patterns and see associated things that need to be looked at. I get that and looked at that, but how does that shift happen? It happens when you decide it happens. So, and what I mean by that is that identity shift, like when you decide that your identity is now this, that's when the shift happens and you give all your energy. Okay, so we're getting rid of that old neural pathway connection that might be strong right now, but that could change in an instant. So you decide, this is my new identity, this is my new reality, and that's it. Nothing else exists. Nothing else is happening. Nothing else, like, this is what my health looks like. This is what my relationships look like. This is the amount in my bank account, even if it's not there right now. And that's it. That is my reality and nothing else exists. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. There's no plan B. This is what it is. This exists. And then I talk like the book Psychocybernetics. Psychocybernetics is about this. Is about like your reality will change depending on your perception of yourself and how the world responds to you. Oh, I'm lucky. Like, you might have seen that trend that's called the lucky girl trend. If like I'm just the luckiest person in the world, well then luck will find you. So if when you decide means to cut off all other possibilities. That's literally what the word decide means. When you decide to cut off all other possibilities, and this is the only possibility, this is my only reality, this is my only life, then everything starts to shift. It just does. I mean, you need to be all in on that. That is it. That is only what's going on for you. Hi, Robert. Faraz, if I find the safe, stable ones boring, isn't that embedded? No, you don't have, I mean, you could shift that, but it's because a lot of times we're not even aware that like the safe, stable ones are boring. But like what I'm saying is like bring that into an awareness and like, and then go from there. Journal about that. So if I find what about a safe, stable relationship is boring to me? What makes me not connect to safety and stability? Because I don't want the instability anymore. I don't want the toxicity. So what is repelling me from the safety and security that I say that I want? And it's usually because you don't trust that you're worthy of that. You don't trust that it'll be consistent. There's something there. There is a core belief that is a false. Fear is false evidence appearing real. So it appears real right now. So that's why if you dig deep into that, you just get curious with yourself, like you're interviewing yourself when you journal about these things. And it's kind of like, okay, well, why would that be boring? Why would and what do we do when we're bored? We tune out. So why would I numb out to something when someone's trying to provide me like the safety and security and support that I say I want? And you have to be curious. Um, J. Rowe, Miss Clayton, how exactly will your treatment change whatever you're thinking you think accounts for my current problems, challenges, and symptoms? So my and all of my videos, my courses, everything I do is from a neuroscience. It's psychology plus neuroscience. So of course, we talk about the psychology behind things, but also the neuroscience. That's why like my thing is mental health hacker, because you have to like upgrade your software. Like your brain is like a computer, right? So we have to rewire certain things, and that involves neurological reprogramming. So whatever, and it's so different for everyone. It's so customized. That's why I constantly make videos about this and answer your guys' questions, because it's different for everyone. It depends on what negative, untrue core belief that you have and how we can shift that. And then how we can get you out of this work dynamic, and like what fear do you have that you're clinging to something that's so toxic for you that you need to move out of. So it's very different for everyone. But if you're doing this on your own and you're just watching my videos, then journal about this and constantly do self-discovery. But it is better to work with someone on some type of, because you could get the feedback, and the healing is just accelerated. So, and then like if you WhatsApp me, we can chat about it, and I'll be like, hey, here's what I would do if we were to work together. And you could say, hey, that sounds great. Or like, no, let me think about, you know what I mean? So it's up to you. But again, how I work is I have an hour-long session with my clients. We can do 90 minutes, but people usually like 60 minutes. Or sometimes people do a 60-minute session and a 30-minute session later in the week. And then, but all throughout that, like after we meet, whatever, let's say we meet on Monday, throughout the week, we're talking. How are you doing? I check on my clients every day. How are you doing? Let me know. Let me know if I could help you. Let me move that comment out. So that's how we would work together, just vaguely. But like to get really specific, is everyone is so specific, but I would start there with thinking about those things that I went over with, talked about with you, because you probably have some type of, that is the underlying thing is an under earning association with the fact that I have to struggle and I have to suffer to get my needs met. Really helpful. Thank you. Big Pontiac, I used copper cups over 15 years. Woo, cheers. Nice. Okay. Wait, the acronym for fear is false evidence appearing real. Because with the things that we fear, I mean, they're only as real as the life that we give them. So it's false evidence appearing real. And that just helps you when you remember it just helps you remember that like you're bigger than any of your fears. And especially if you have any, relationship to your higher power. Like, I mean, what did they always say? It's like, show me your fears, and like, God is bigger than any of your fears. Um, and that's the truth. I totally believe that that's the truth. Um, I guess for me as a 60-year, the amount of hate I have for dominant group in America, produce action can cure fear. Yeah. And like the other acronym for fear is face everything and rise. So it's kind of like, and that's what courage is. Courage is like, it's okay to be afraid, and then you move forward towards what you want anyway, not away from it. So both of those things are true, but we have to understand that it's false evidence appearing real. So I'm not going to let this thing that is like control me, right? Because people use fear to control people in a negative way, but we also do it to ourselves. We also kind of gaslight ourselves and do these things to keep ourselves so small. We like listen to the inner critic and we allow it to keep us small and control and manipulate us. So we have to know that that's not true and have the courage to move beyond them. Hi, what's up? Well, so those are the questions I had in my DMs. And let me know if you guys have anything else. But I really feel like this week, I want you guys to think, or whenever you're seeing this, really do, and even if your relationship with money is great or it's cool, it's like, yeah, it's fine. False evidence appearing real. Yes, that's what fear stands for. But so for this, I'm just gonna, you can have the intention. I'm putting it out there if you guys want to do it. Like whatever your relationship with money is, look at it and be like, can it be upgraded? Am I limiting myself? Am I like, oh, I'll just settle for this? What is it? And then what is holding you back? Is it like a fear? What is your inner critic telling you about money? Like that you have to suffer for it? Especially if you have a lot of it, like we were talking about with J Bro, like, or, like what is it where you feel like you need to suffer or settle, or that it's like it's for everyone but me, or I can never get da da da. Like what is it? It like just bring your false core beliefs to the surface so you can release them. And you could be like, okay, here's all my false core beliefs around money and what I'm worthy of receiving. And I'm going to decide that this isn't part of my identity anymore. And it's when it's not part of your identity, it stops being part of your reality. You're welcome, Mike. Let me see if I missed anything. Let's see. My mother-in-law raised my wife by fear. Yeah. And like I was raised that way too. And the scars are only lasting if you want them to. Like you could decide, like, I was raised this way, I only see it this way. Well, then fine. But you could decide at any moment that maybe you don't know everything and maybe like things can be different. Maybe things could be better for you. Because, sometimes our parents raise us with fear so they could control us and so that they're always in our control, right? So you never really leave them and you always feel like you need them for something. And I mean, that is what fear does. It just is a way to control people, and parents do it all lot. So, yep. I've heard fallacy, emotional, arbitrational response. I haven't heard that one. J. Rowe, thank you for the response. Off subject, but I have been watching the TV show Shrinking, yeah, on Apple TV and feel some of the situations are me in that show. I love that show. I have to say, I'm very picky about TV and like what I consume, and I always encourage you guys to be just like the people you're around, the environment that you're in, the food that you consume. You want it to all be good. That show is funny. That show is like very heartfelt, and it's deep too. So I love that show, and yeah, and it's relatable. So I can see how you'd probably feel like you're in some of those situations. It's a great, if you want something to be proud, like if you want something to watch where you can laugh, like if you like to watch Shrinking. That is, I like Shrinking. I like The Office. This Watch something that will make you laugh. Laughing is very healing. Hello. Different shades of gray. I'm very proud of you. Okay, thank you. Um All right. Does anyone else have any other questions? Stand-up comedy is great. Yes. Any form of laughing. I have to find the book. I can't remember it, but like this guy, um, I have to find it, but he was talking about like he got diagnosed, like he's had 3 months to live, and he was like, "Fuck it, okay, I'm just gonna laugh. I'm just gonna drop everything and laugh." And then his diagnosis cleared up, and he lived for another several or a few decades. Um, so healing is so. I mean, I know that there are a lot of things in place that don't want you to know how easy it is to heal yourself just by shifting some mindset things and how powerful your mind is. And if you ever doubt how powerful your mind is, let me remind you that surgeries took place without any before the anesthetics or anything existed by hypnotizing people, like eye surgeries. Okay, look it up. So um, just remember how powerful. That's another reason I, hold space for you guys. But I also want to constantly tell you your mind is so powerful. Whatever it is that you want to have, like be, do, or have in your life, whatever that is, you can have that. And you all are only having these challenges. Yes, they make you stronger, but they are getting you to where you actually want to be. Any challenge that you have in your work, health, romantic relationships, family, it's an opportunity for you to completely accelerate your growth. I promise you that. Um okay, any other questions, you guys? It's so nice seeing you. So glad to be here with you. And I'm already looking forward to Soothing Sundays, where we'll go over neurological reprogramming tools and techniques. Yeah, you can text me and then we can talk about like one-on-one. Um, I could tell you more about, I've told you basically what like it looks like, but I'll talk more specifically about what one-on-one looks like if we were to work together, J-Ro. And then yeah, so that work number that I have set up, whenever I get it, I'll get back to you as soon as I can, like I do with all my clients, requests and all that. Like I uh get back to you guys as soon as I can. You're welcome, J-Ro. Anyone checking? I don't know what that means. Um, so I'm working on a game. I don't know what that means. Working on a game. Give me some tips. Um, but anyway, I'm gonna wrap it up. So nice to see all of you. And again, if there's a topic related to mental health, psychology, if it's just a general topic or something that you want me to go over, yes, swimming can be therapeutic. Anything that feels good to your nervous system is therapeutic. And I don't mean when I say that, I don't mean like, yes, eating a bowl of ice cream. Like, I mean, it can be, but like nothing that you're going to regret later that's going to further dysregulate you later. Ciao. It's absolutely a pleasure listening. Oh, thank you, Goddess Boss. It's so great to connect with you. I love connecting with you guys. I love helping you guys. I love holding this space for you guys. Sorry about the trolls. I think we got rid of them. But yeah, text me if you actually are moderate. And my other, I actually don't know how to make someone a moderator, but I will figure it out. I'll look it up. Um, my son just had a psychotic episode, have 72-hour hold in the hospital. What do you think should be my next move for him? It depends. Okay, so that's very specific, and I don't know, like, what trigger like, I don't wanna give any medical advice when I don't know the specific situation, but in general, like, you have to talk to your practitioner, like, who, because there's people when you do a 72-hour hold, there's people that are talking to you and, like, informing you of things, but the most important thing, no matter what, is to be very supportive and just be like, just let because when you have a psychotic episode, it's scary for the person experiencing it too. So if you can just hold like a safe, loving space for that person, if you want to like ask if you can hug them, ask if like, without, and it doesn't need to be like, I'm walking on eggshells. It needs to be like, I'm a strong, supportive force here, keeping you safe. That energy, not like, oh, are you okay? None of that. Like, I'm here for you. I got you. You're safe type of energy. That's the only energy that you need to come with. But everything else, I would talk specifically with the people in the hospital about any other like specific things. Um, because it is very specific and it like what triggered it, all of those things. Was it like a substance that triggered it? Was it, that's beyond that. I can't really give you any specifics because it depends on the if it was like, medically induced or not, or, induced from something or not. Peter, first time here. So I've been going through a separation and possibly a divorce, trying to figure out if I'm in the autistic spectrum. How should I start? Well, you can get diagnosed. Now, I have a question. Like, so is like the divorce or separation or relationship issues, are they, is she saying like it's because you're autistic? Because there's plenty of autistic people that have very nice relationships. But we should always be like attending to our psychological and mental and emotional needs, right? So, or health is what I meant. So, like you brush your teeth, you work out, like you do other things to take care of yourself. So, yeah, you can see. You don't need any drugs for that or anything, but if it helps you understand how to move through the world and relate to people, if you're on the autistic spectrum, okay, fine. Um, the other thing I feel like sometimes I see this a lot with narcissists. They pretend like they're autistic to like act like an asshole. And it's like, well, maybe you're just a dick. Maybe, yeah, that's probably what's going on. There's a really good Curb Your Enthusiasm episode about that. It's like, no, you're just rude. When is your next live? My next live is Sunday. And I started calling it Soothing Sundays because of a recommendation from Mike. And just to like get your mindset ready for the week. If you feel like you have Sunday scaries, come on in. But just and I'm going to start those with the nervous system regulation techniques, just even if it's just breathing deeply, and encouraging you guys to do like meditations every day, even if you meditate for 3 minutes. If you set a timer and meditate with your eyes open or if your eyes are open, you have to focus. It's better to do it with your eyes closed. And if you could just breathe deeply and exhale and imagine like, all the negativity or anxiety, whatever leaving you, whatever it is, like you don't want to, that's not serving you. But anyway, we'll talk more about that on Soothing Sundays. But yes, that is the next time. And I'll start making announcements about it and like little shorts and reels and you can post things now on YouTube. So I'll make a post about it. You could also what's it called? Like on other platforms where you like on TikTok where you share it with other people. You can like share, like how they're doing. I don't know, it's cool. I like that. Curb Your Enthusiasm is classic. Yeah. On Curb Your Enthusiasm, there's an episode like where Larry is like, how Larry is, and he's like, oh, I'm on the spectrum. It's really funny, but a lot of people do use. So anyway, Peter, to answer your question, going through a separation, like, have you done couples therapy yet? Because that's usually something people do. I wish people did couples therapy when things were going good, just to like check in. Bad timing. Are you leaving? No, I'm here. I was just wrapping up because I wasn't getting any other comments. Like, I love this girl. Oh, thank you. I comment to make you angry. I think that's about me. Let's see. So I have been doing a lot of self-reflection, great reading, self-help books, awesome, but random fiction book called About Asperger's. It's a fiction book about Asperger's, and I started doing self-assessments and seems I might be autistic. Okay. Maybe you are. I mean, yeah, you could be. But typically it doesn't get in the way of any relationship problems. But I'm really glad to hear, and probably that's why you found me. If you're doing like self-reflection, I hold space and I tend to attract people that, take responsibility for their lives and they're not in victim mode, or if they are, they want to get out of it and out of victim mode. And they want to be like, hey, I'm ready to take the reins and have the best health, wealth, relationships, and career, and, connection with whatever you call your higher power. Like, I'm here because I want you guys to thrive. So I'm glad you found me, Peter. But let me know if you have, and the thing about like, separation and divorce, it's kind of like people sometimes grow apart. Can you grow back together? Another, person, Peter, and for everyone, listening that I love that talks a lot about relationships is Esther Perel. Esther Perel, you could look at her TED Talks. She has some really good TED Talks about relationships, but even if you just follow her on social media, you could see these little clips, and then she talks about relationships and the different phases of relationships and, you know, cheating and what that's really about, and what the difference between love and passion and all these. She's really good about just talking about relationships, why people break up, and because a lot of times people don't break up because they're like completely miserable. A lot of times people break up because they could be happier. So really interesting. Would you consider being a guest on another channel? Of course. Of course, I love being guests on different podcasts and channels. Absolutely. Basically, she's shut down, so I'm trying to figure out how I should improve myself, trying to assess myself so I can go in the right direction. I was shocked what I thought was normal wasn't. Okay. Peter, I love this. I freaking love this. This is so much um like I love that you are taking this opportunity to better yourself and learn more about yourself and be a better version of yourself. That's awesome. Like first let's celebrate that win. That's another thing I want you guys to do is constantly celebrate your wins. You guys are so hard on yourself. A lot of us are. So can you celebrate your wins? Yeah, yeah, definitely contact me. So basically she shut down. Like we can't do anything. We can only control our behavior. So if she shut down, that is her choice. And sometimes in partnerships, one person just shuts down and they just decide because they don't want to work on themselves. Some people are so afraid to work on themselves that they'd rather shut down and find someone else that'll just enable them being shut down or closed off emotionally. So, and I don't know if that's the case for her, but I'm just saying that you stay in your lane, Peter, which it sounds like you're doing a great job of, and keep focusing on you and being the best version of yourself you can be. And sometimes when we shift, our environment shifts in a positive way. And then so she might come around and then she might not. But no matter what, I want you to be okay because from what you're saying, you're moving in an excellent direction. And so everything is going to work out in your favor when you do that. And even if it means like that relationship ends, maybe another one will better will come in, or maybe like Esther Perel talks about, sometimes you have like a completely different relationship with the same person because you evolved in some type of way, hopefully together. What are the percentages of divorced couples become cool again? Oof. Um, Depends on what become cool again means. Like civil because there's children involved and they're not like at each other's throats. I mean, I don't know exactly what become cool again means, but like to be kind of at least, somewhat what I'll call civil. It could I don't know the exact percentages because there's not really a lot of like scientific data about that's accurate because of course you're like self-reporting and things. And then people that are okay, they're usually not like talking about it or doing, so but I would say it's about like what I've seen in my private practice and colleagues and everything, I would say about like 60%. Like it could definitely get there, but you want consistently cool again, not like, oh my God, I hope they're in a good mood. Like, so, but it's possible. But can you be cool again? Can you not let that trigger you? Because if someone's toxic, they're always jonesing to trigger you. They're feeding off of drama. They're addicted to drama. So can you get to a point where you're not triggered by them? Because if they're toxic, they'll find someone else to trigger. They're like, I can't get my supply needs met here, so let me find someone else to trigger. So if that's the case, can you like find a way to like just step back? If there's parenting involved, you just gray rock the situation. You become as interesting as the color beige, and you only like answer like certain like things about, okay, drop off is here, pick up, like only the facts, like only what needs to be talked about. If you become really boring to a toxic person, they will find someone else to trigger. Peter says, if I have to simplify my life, has been mostly if I have to simplify, my life has been mostly about keeping others warm while burning myself. Yeah. The thing I see and understand her perspective in a way, I'm proud of her standing up for her happiness. Okay, great. And then also, so, when I hear that you keep others warm by burning yourself. So there's an opportunity to let go of some codependent behavior because we don't completely suffer and sacrifice to the point where like that's creating a huge imbalance. Not that I'm saying, especially like masculine energy, like real masculine energy enjoys providing and protecting and like doing things to help the feminine and like women and children, right? But like when you're at the point where it's like to your detriment, where you're doing things to your detriment, then that's an imbalance. There's some codependent stuff going on there where you are completely sacrificing your needs for someone else. So there's an opportunity for balance there. And I'm glad that you're proud of her for standing up for her happiness, and I also am inviting you to stand up for your happiness too and claim what you want, need, and deserve out of relationships and what your standards are. When relationships have like a thing like this, like there's an opportunity to elevate your standards. Again, your life will only meet you at whatever your standards are. So if you're like, oh, this sucks, it's because on some level you tolerate that or feel like you deserve that. So can you get rid of that? Anyway, let me just delete this. No man ever. Okay, well, real men like providing and protecting. So that's just masculine energy. So I want you to also like be okay because there's a point, Peter, where I feel like you can elevate your standard for what makes you happy and know that like I feel like there's a core belief that if someone else is happy, I have to suffer. And so let's shift that. Like you guys can both be happy. Both people can get their needs met. Both people can be happy. Personally, I don't associate with my ex unless she wants to hook up. Well, yeah, that's one thing to do. I don't know if it's a thing where you're only associating to hook up, there might be an opportunity to because like, when you give someone your sexual energy, that's your energy, right? And so that makes it not available for someone else that might be more compatible with you. And I mean, I understand that. I understand like hooking up could be fun or everything, but it's just something to think about because, it's an energy exchange and it does tie you to the other person and other people can feel that if like someone else is like, connected to your energy. In my assessments, few things stood out: social anxiety, unable to relate, emotion, and masking throughout my life, unfortunately. Okay, but that's great awareness. It's a great place to start, and that doesn't mean things can't shift. Um, and like the fact that social anxiety, falls under the spectrum, but unable to relate emotion, not really. I mean, so that's what I mean about the neurodivergent stuff. It's like, okay, maybe you are neurodivergent, but neurodivergent people can also like relay emotion and they're not feeling like they mask like they're really my teeth are white. No, but they don't feel like they're masking like their emotions. They just experience emotion differently and sometimes express it differently, but it's not like, and by masking, I think you mean suppressing, or that's another word for it. So like, and again, when we suppress that's not good for the nervous system. When we suppress emotions, it can lead to a lot of other uncomfortable things. It could lead to disease. It could lead to, injuries in the body or discomfort in the body. So It does sound like I was saying earlier, like the more you talk, Peter, like, yeah, you feel like you have a core belief around your needs, emotional, physical, otherwise can't be met if I'm in a relationship with someone and their needs come first. And there should be a synergy within every like work dynamic, couple, anything where there should be a synergy where both people, it's not like one person's needs trump the others. That's unhealthy. It's like both people get their needs met and maybe it's expressed or shows up in different ways, but you get to shift that core belief that your needs are also important. 50-50 is a fallacy. If I have bread and peanut butter and you have bread and peanut butter, that's 50-50. Um, why do we need each other? The key, right, to balance. I mean, there's it masculine, feminine energy exists everywhere. It exists in nature. It exists. I mean, like I plugged this into something. It exists in science. It's just like, and so I don't know why people try to fight it, like with this, with masculine, feminine energy. It's like not 50-50. Like I am a woman. A man is stronger than me. Like we have strengths and in different ways. And energies that balance each other out. It's just what it is. Um, yes, as a parent, I did catch myself acting like my mom and my dad when it came to my kid. But like that's great awareness, J-Ro. Like, yeah, I mean, kids will bring that out in you and they'll make you unaware of some things that, patterns that you've had or suppressed or that you just learned and like, oh, okay, I'm doing that. And but you're saying like I caught myself and I don't want to. That's great awareness. So I love that. Peter, I've never thought and hence I'm scared and not know how to answer the question, what do I want? Yeah, exactly. Boom. How did I know that? From when you first started talking. So you have an opportunity to be way more aware of your needs, like what you want, need, and deserve. Like and that's okay. Like I like that, Peter. I like that you can acknowledge that and that it's kind of scary for you. Like the healing often comes from the things that feel scary to us. It's like, oh, I don't want to look at that, or I haven't looked at that, or like, oh. So that's okay. It's okay to be scared. That's what courage is. It's like, okay, I feel that fear there, that uncomfortability, and I'm going to move forward anyway. So, and I'm proud of you for saying, thank you for your vulnerability and bringing this up. And you wouldn't have brought this up and been communicating with me in this way if you weren't ready to move past this. So you can be scared and still move forward. And you can show up in a relationship and get your needs met. And like, look at you practicing that right now. You're in this forum, in this like container that I've created, and you are getting your needs met right now. So look, you're already doing it and you can continue to do it more and more in your relationships. I'm proud of you. Merjit, Um, hello, Perez. So keep doing that, Peter. That is possible for you. Okay. If we all agree no one is perfect, why can't two people accommodate imperfections? Well, I mean, on the surface, that sounds, of course, yes, we can all accommodate imperfections, but in relationships, we don't always know how to communicate properly. And so like resentments build because we're not communicating. And just like you said, Peter, you didn't know how to express your needs and get them met. So, um, and sometimes resentments build up. It's not like it can't be reversed, but it sounds like there's an opportunity to do more communicating. But you have to, you did say your partner, she's a little like shut down right now. So I would just be patient with that and work on yourself and see if she's open to communicating. And if you guys aren't doing couples therapy, do couples therapy with someone that is good. I can't stop eating. I'm fat. Well, That's good awareness, and it sounds like you wanna stop eating. So, what is the eating? So we started this live stream talking about numbing out and addictions. So numbing out in any type of addiction is to take you out of the present moment. So you're focused on the past, or you have anxiety about the future, and it's really hard for you to be in the present moment. So I would stop, and if you can, journal and talk about what is making me uncomfortable right now. What do I not want to face? What do I not want to look at? What is making me the most uncomfortable? Besides being fat and besides eating, there's something underneath there. The eating and the fat thing is like the mask that's covering it up. What is underneath there? What are you trying to suppress? What are you trying to not feel? What like hole are you trying to fill? That's where I would start with that. Um, J Ro, healing is definitely a process. I'm going down new roads. It's even scarier. I was married for 23 years before my divorce, and my son plays college basketball. It's hard to navigate. Yeah, it is, and especially because it's new, J-Ro, it is hard to navigate, but it's possible. And going down new roads is scary, but can we reframe that? Can we put a reframe on that, that it's scary, but this is, and deciding that it's leading to good things, that it's leading to a better life. And I'm so grateful for that. This new road that I'm on, I don't know, I can't control it. I can't, it's not like so predictable anymore, but it's leading to a better life. And I'm so grateful for that. And if you have any type of higher power that you call God or universe or whatever, I would lean into that and be like, okay, God, I trust you to guide me. And I know that you're there and you're loving me and you're supporting me and I feel safe with you. And and then when you do that, other support systems show up in your life. Like you show up to this live stream or, other things come into place. Okay. All right. Let's be nice. Anyway, I feel like I'm always been that way. Well, yeah, yeah, like that's what I'm saying. It's just an ingrained habit, but it sounds like you're outgrowing it, especially as you do this self-awareness, Peter. When I had to express myself even as a kid, either it was, yeah, it was frowned upon or not understood. That's where codependent behavior comes from. We are told at a young age that it's frowned upon to get your needs met, or like, "Oh, you're such a burden," or like, "Why are you talking?" My life has been coping masking. Yeah, so that's why I'm saying like a lot of, trauma, it could show up and it kind of like looks like neurodivergent stuff. It looks like Asperger's, but it's really just trauma that, becomes like codependent behavior where it's like, okay, I don't have needs, or I'm so scared to get my needs met. Like, even if like the waiter brings the wrong dish and then you just won't say anything like that, it gets like that, like where it's kind of like, I am afraid to get my needs met because when I did that as a child, I was shunned. I was abandoned in some way. I was emotionally neglected, which just sounds like what's happening for you, Peter. And good job knowing that the source of it. Can you do some inner child work around that and talk to that version of Peter and be like, you know what? It's okay for you to get your needs met now. You're safe now. You can have all of your needs met. You can express any thoughts and emotions, and you'll still be loved, because that version of you, Peter, as a child, learned that if I express myself, if I am seen, and if I ask for anything for me in any type of way, I won't be loved and I will be abandoned, which is very scary for a child. Let me have some water. I don't like gulping sounds. I hope you didn't hear that. Um, So, yeah, and, like, Peter, maybe step away from the autism or Asperger stuff or the spectrum stuff for a while and look into codependent behavior. Just do research on that. Look at my channel and stuff about narcissists and I think I have a playlist, but I don't have all of it. Sometimes I forget to add things to the playlist. But, like, because that will help you understand the fear of getting your needs met. more than the spectrum stuff will, I promise you. So, yeah. Okay. Now I'm gonna oh my god, I've been here for 2 hours, you guys. Time flies, time flies. Top it off being a guy, I told myself. I know, and it's a tricky thing, like, to tell yourself to stop whining, get shit done, but hasn't helped ignoring okay, but, like, again, great awareness, Peter. So, because there is a balance, everyone has thoughts and emotions, and so they can't be stuffed forever. So, and this sometimes a crisis in a relationship will bring these things to the surface. This is like unresolved trauma. Relationships will very quickly show you, especially a crisis in a relationship or a problem in a relationship, will show you where you need to grow, where your blind spots are, where you haven't healed some trauma, where you have suppressed trauma. So that's all that's coming up for you right now. And I don't mean like that's all. I mean like, but I mean like that's beautiful that this is coming up for you right now because you can heal it and let it go and have a really fulfilling relationship. Either like will be men with your partner or with someone else, but all of your relationships are going to get better once you do this work around um, getting your needs met and knowing that it is safe to be seen and heard and that like you can be loved while still like having a feeling, having an opinion, having all of those things. Why is it all about Peter? Okay, I comment to make you angry. I've been answering everyone's like, let's relax. I'm turning off my air conditioner. But I am going to wrap up soon because it's been 2 hours. But I will be here again on Sunday for Soothing Sundays, and I'm already very excited to talk to you guys. I don't know what to do with my boring life. You know what? You can do with your boring life. You can watch my videos and journal about, hey, if I woke up tomorrow and I had the most amazing my dream life, what would that look like? And then start devoting your energy to that. How do you understand trauma and let go of trauma? Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, first of all, a great place to start is this book. Get on Audible so you can listen to it, read it. This is a great way to understand all that and let it go. And like the author just does such a great job about like understanding emotion, understanding what you're going through, and then letting it go so it stops ruining your relationships and your life. Codependency. I will watch your channel after. Yeah. So yeah, and yeah, so when we have relationships, like toxic relationships that can start in childhood, we learn that our needs don't matter and it's scary to get our needs met because we might get abandoned. And so then we attract these, relationships that don't serve us. And then it just creates more of that dynamic. Okay. But yes, hop on again, Peter, and everyone, like on Sunday. I would love to see you guys and chat with you guys more. And then, if you have other questions that you want me to answer, you can DM me. I wish you could DM people on YouTube, but anyway, you can DM. No, don't apologize. I love answering your questions. Like, and again, like Peter, like I want you to understand, like this is a very healing thing that you did. Like I'm holding space for you. You're being seen and heard. Like you do it. So this is just showing you that you can do this in other aspects of your life. I'm proud of you. That will fix your boring life. Why would you ask, Lauren? Oh gosh. Thank you, Big Pontiac. Thank you. So anyway, great chatting with you guys. Oh, and that's what I was saying, like on Instagram and TikTok, if you have like a more specific like DM that you want to send, like you can also communicate with me there. And then what I do is and if I don't like get all specific, but I'll take questions from my DMs and comments and then go live and talk about them while I'm answering yours. My Facebook is my name, Lauren Clayton. I forget that it's different. It's not Mental Health Hacker. It's Lauren Clayton. Yes, this is recorded. Every live stream I do, it's recorded. And as soon as I end the live stream, it will be uploaded to YouTube. I don't edit. I don't do any editing or anything. It's there for you to, look at. You can listen to it like a podcast if you want. Like, it's just there. So all unfiltered, just there. Can you show the book again? Yes, this is called Letting Go by Dr. David R. Hawkins. Letting Go. Actually, I'm going to write it in the comments too. I forgot to do that. That would be good. Letting Go by Dr. David. R. Hawkins. Boom. Okay. Yeah, Robert Greene is good too. Do you ever notice that when we were kids, kindergarten was so colorful with bright lights, and once we're in high school, yeah. I mean, the education system is like jail. You're very welcome. I had a comment to make you angry. You're very welcome. Let me get rid of that. Boom. Okay. All right, you guys. Love you guys so much. And I will see you guys again soon on Sunday. Bye. Talk to you guys later.